I believe in harm. I love when I'm like, I wish you a joyous day. And then in my Twitter, they're like, oh, I'm sorry. I wish you a happy day. And then in the third reply, my Twitter's like, fuck happiness. You should go for joy. I'm like, cool. Like, we're saying the same shit. Right? Like I believe in harmony. I believe in balance. I believe in joy. But like, what's one's harm? Like, balance is impossible. Like, everyone's like, you need balance. I'm like, cool. What's your balance? Because my balance is different. What's one's joy? One's wants happiness. What I want is, at its core, what's become very tangible to me is I want people to live their life with as little anxiety as humanly possible, the way I do. When I look at myself today and look at everybody around me, and when I mean around me, very close to me, but then the next layer, my family, then my coworkers, then my friends, then the hardest core fans, then casual fans. I'm looking at a lot of groups of people. And like, when I say to myself, like, what's the most different thing about me? The most different thing about me is the percentage of my time that my stomach feels anxiety. The number is almost non-existent. And I mean almost non-existent for the year, in a world where I watch almost everyone I know have percentages during every day. Some 80% of their day.
Or inversely proportional.
And so I am obsessed with being a communicator to try to change people's perspectives, because living life with anxiety, nerves, insecurity, concern, fear, dwelling, indifference, apathy is really like not the way to play this gift called life.
Gary, how do you do
like it? I'm going into some spiritual crazy places in my mind that are practical, like, oh, wait a minute, maybe the answer is, if you're not happy, you have to go crazy simplistic and like move to Peru and work on a farm. Because then you just reset the whole thing and get into a simple state, because a stunning amount of people that live a very simple life with very little income in second and third world countries have remarkable happiness.
All the time.
And so if you're not cut out for the muscle and bustle of a first world country, then cool, who gives a shit? Just because I am, I don't think that makes me special or good. I just think it fits my DNA. But for you, maybe you should go to and live there full time. Like, I'm really like going there. Like, I'm really challenging myself to figure shit out the world and then talk about it. Like, I'm into it. That's what I want to do.
So
we're so
it's
grateful
interesting
for
because I've kind of just done that.
You did?
I'm Irish, but I've been living in 4 years in Dubai, and don't get me wrong, it's an incredible place, and it's the hustle and bustle and the glitz and the glam. But I moved to Brazil, and you know, it's a long way away from Dubai, but my health has improved. My happiness has improved. My work-life balance is so much better. And you know, yeah, I can be in Dubai on this incredible beach drinking a $20 beer, but I'm just as happy on plastic furniture drinking a $2 beer, you know, surrounded by a whole lot more normal people. And it is pretty invigorating.
And you look
I mean, I understand that more, you know, and for me, living this high intensity life is like laying on a plastic piece of furniture, drinking a $0 beer. Like it's all like, I'm not attached to my career, my notoriety, my financial success. I'm not attached to it. I have no self-worth tied up in Garyvee or Gary Vaynerchuk, the entrepreneur. My self-worth is fully and utterly 100% attached to how I treat human beings.
A lot of people try to get you to focus on one thing, but if I focus on one thing,
the
I'm
people that
bored.
the people that try to get you focus on one thing are the people that focus on one thing and are boring as fuck.
So I guess with all of that, I'm trying to figure out good ways to grow in all of those spaces more than I have been. It's not going poorly. It's not going amazingly. So it's kind of one of those things where if you're trying to...
Ready? Let me break it down. You could actually get more followers and get more paper if you just go potentially, if you go all in on whichever one of those 6 things you're best at, you could. You also wouldn't be fucking you, and you wouldn't be happy.
Yes.
So my big thing to the fucking world is, would you rather be happy and have a little less following and a little less money, or would you rather be sadder and have more following, a blue check, and a couple more dollars? It's a real simple question. Now, my favorite part, what I actually know in my soul, is if you actually stay the course and are just yourself the whole way, you're always one piece of content, either an anime, either in a beat, either in a rhyme, either in a thing. You're always one moment away from things popping off. And then you can say, wait a minute, this just went viral. This just went fire. Drake just like this. What do I do? Then you can decide if you want to go all in on that thing at that moment. But it was that happiness and that continuous making that allowed you to get to that serendipity. So I don't think it's an either or. I actually think you will be bigger, make more money if you stay the course of being Renaissance man. It just takes time, bro. I fucking made videos for 6-7 years before anybody gave a fuck.
Oh yeah, I know that's the thing, and I've already I've accepted doing everything. I've been through many years of my friends telling me you should just be a photographer, you should just make music, you should just do whatever. And so I'm past that. I'm at that point. But it really just sounds like you're saying just keep grinding it out, and it'll come to you.
Yes, because you'll be happy. Some people are not talented and they eventually never really make it, but there is one other overlay. How long have you been following me?
Years. I actually was one of those watched daily V, and then I stopped. I'm not too much a fan of weekly V, so I got into it and I was like, this isn't for me, and I've sort of moved on. But it's probably been 5 years in total.
So now a really important question. When I started going ham a year plus ago on TikTok, how quickly did you go on, or did you?
I just started.
That
I've been trying to
let's stop right there. That I'm gonna give you something real powerful here, bro. That, yes, keep grinding, but please understand that when there's a new platform and there's a land grab of attention, next time you go hard.
Yeah,
Promise me this, Dave. Promise me this. I've got now 15 years of being right about this shit. In 18 months, in 36 months, in 48 months, when I'm like, Lollipop is the shit. Everybody get on Lollipop. Make your fucking augmented reality fucking icon. Go. I'm telling you, Lollipop. This is just like TikTok. This is just like Twitter. That next time, Dave, I need you to fucking go immediately blindly and being like, I fuck with Garyvee, fuck it. I'm not making the same mistake. Because if you go on TikTok today versus when I fucking told everybody to go on it, you left fucking millions of views on the table. You can't get big like that no more because everyone's on the top.
Yep. I know that's a thing. I think I was concerned about, I think yesterday you talked about how every social network starts as one thing and then becomes everything. Yeah, yes. Exactly. So I immediately am like, I'm not dancing, I'm not making memes, I'm not doing blah, 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 things that don't work with my personality. And so I avoided it because my personality wasn't
This is why I always say to people, watch what I do, not what I say. I went on there and fucking made Garyvee shit. Mm-hmm. I didn't make TikTok shit, I made Garyvee shit. I'm trying to tell people, like you and I, David, grew up in the generation where the world told you what success was.
Right.
I never got caught in it because I was weird from the get. I talk a lot about having my fingers in my ears and being weird about school, right? Fuck school, and everyone thinks that's kind of cool. What people don't understand that they don't think is as cool is I did that for the definition of success. Like, I didn't think I needed a fancy car or a fancy house or a Rolex. Like, I treated the glitz and glamour of capitalism the same way I treated school, which is you're both full of shit.
Yeah.
This concept of grudges is on my mind in a way that you can't imagine. This concept of grudges might be the most reverse thing I'm really tapped in right now. People hold a grudge and actually think the person they're holding the grudge against is getting hurt when they're getting eaten alive by holding the grudge. It's it's profound to me, and that goes into energy. If you're spending all your energy paying attention to the person that you're mad at to hope that they are more hurt because you're hurt by them, you've got no energy for yourself to find your happiness. For me, everything I do is pure, right? Like, I'm supposed to be downstairs 6 minutes ago for something, but like I'm in the zone. And like, I feel like we're connecting, me and this crew right here. And I'm like, fuck it, I want to give a little more, right? Like, I'm a little anxious because I got to go, but like, but I don't think this extra 7 or 10 minutes is going to like make you like me more or buy a V friend or, you know, like giving is giving. And so it's easy for me because it's not exhausting at all, because it's just my flow and I have no expectation. But this is gonna help other people in a different way. This will be interesting. If I just want to sleep in on a Tuesday and cancel my 9 to 11, and this does not happen, but if I did, I do cancel things at times. I'm not gonna judge myself. And so like if I need Friday off, or if I wanna go on an extra vacation, or I just don't judge myself. And so like whatever, I always protect myself. You know, big misconception with me, hustle. I talk about passion. When you love what you do, of course you do it a lot. It's your game. But like, here's something, I sleep 7, 8, 9 hours a night. There's no 6s and 5s and 4s. Like, so I protect myself, you know? And so that's how I get it done. I would argue I'm in self-care 24/7, 365.
I love that.
I'm in self-care constantly.
Yeah.
It just, I'm very fortunate. I won the DNA lottery, where the thing that makes me happiest is when I'm making other people happy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean,
But this is where people get confused with nice guys finish last. There's a lot of people who will say what I just said, but it's manipulation to get what they want. I love when my employees, this is why I don't do resumes or any of that bullshit. Tell me your weakness. Oh, you know, sometimes I just work too hard. You know, that kind of answer, right? So anyway, nonetheless, but that doesn't mean that's not the case for others. Some things are hard for others. It's hard for me to read. I'm being real serious right now. I clearly have a real reading disability that wasn't really caught. Like, I do a lot of weird things. I have a ton of 5-minute meetings because I can't read an email that every one of you can read in 19 seconds. If I see 2 paragraphs, I'm out. I don't know if any of you've ever, this is something I know gets a lot of people in my company make fun of me for. So I don't know if any of you have ever interacted with somebody who's emailed with me, but I would tell you that 60% of the emails I send the entire email in the headline.
Phenomenal.
Like 3 sentences in the headline. Yeah, it's just, that's just kind of where I'm at. That's probably why Twitter worked for me. It was like built for me. It was like boom, boom. I remember when Twitter came out, they were like 140 characters. Everyone's like, what the fuck? I was like, this is plenty.
Your team is now up to 1,500 people all over the world. That's phenomenal. Can you talk to us a little bit about how you approach scale from an empathetic lens? I know you touched on this with having your chief heart officer, but what are some 3 things that you do that you feel every company who's trying to grow from that standpoint that should get right in that regard?
I'm going to give you the big one, and this will really help some people, I hope. This is interesting. Pay attention. Hire fast. Most organizations hire too slow. Mm-hmm. Now this is where it gets more interesting. Hire fast, fire faster. Right? So when you're hiring fast, by the way, when you're hiring slow, you make the wrong call all the time too. I have all-time human intuition skills, and I've hired poorly many times in my career. Hire fast if you're gonna scale. Fire faster with empathy, right? Sometimes 100 days in, 50 days in, You have to go to that person and be like, Quan, I don't know if it's going to work out. You want to be empathetic to somebody. You want to try to be kind on the way out, right? Maybe your severance package is a little bit sweeter because it was too fast, but you've got to hire fast, fire faster, and here's the big one, promote fastest. So many people know they've got somebody great on their team, but they wait 9 more months till it's the 1 year to do the thing. Let me give you a really interesting insight to an alpha winner. If you promote somebody on their 100th day working in your organization, you have a real shot of having that person be there for a long time. So my number one piece of advice is around hiring and firing to scale. Yeah. What that requires is my next piece of advice, which is the byproduct of how you do the first part. Optimistic points of view. I always think everything I'm going to do is going to work out. Every office I hire, every employee I hire, I just deal with reality after. But too many people go in with cynicism and doubt. And then the third one, play within your financial means. When I open up Singapore, it could be a catastrophic disaster, but I can afford it if it goes to zero. And so I don't open it until that's true. So growing appropriately with timing, not too fast, not too slow.
I see. That makes a lot of sense. So there's not a whole, the risk is very moderate from that standpoint.
Yeah, the thing that, people see me as like you would all be flabbergasted how risk adverse I am. It seemingly seems like it's crazy, but I've got Easter eggs. I've got like cash dug in the ground. I've got it like hedged over here. Like I'm an immigrant that's scared to, I don't want to go to zero. I'm also, and this is a big part, I'm also grounded in humility. I'm willing to go backwards for my conviction.
Ooh. Wow.
And so, I'm willing to downsize my home, my meals, my vacations, and most people aren't. I believe one of the biggest reasons so many people have anxiety in our society is because we eliminated winning and losing for children 25 years ago. 8th place trophies have led to mental unhappiness. We have demonized losing so much during a kid's journey that people actually have become to believe that it's bad when losing is the best. How important is it? It's my favorite thing on earth. I even wonder sometimes if I micro lose on purpose. That's how much I believe in it.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, incredible.
I really believe it. We have to champion adversity. We've created zoo animals and then we send them into the world. Do you know what happens to a zebra that's been in the Bronx Zoo for 10 years when you put it into the wild in Africa? It gets eaten by a lion in 10 seconds. And that's what's happening to our under 25-year-olds.
100%. Yeah. Wendy says, what is your favorite industries to work with?
Things that are inherently consumer, fashion, beverage, cereals, like anything that is like selling something to humans is a lot of fun to me. More than B2B, more than one-time buys like a car, like consumables, right? Toothpaste, sneakers, like I'm just fast. I really like those industries. Consumer packaged goods, things that are fast, constantly changing, right? I mean, the most fashionable girls I know are wearing mom jeans, right? Like from the 80s, right? Like, so like, that's constant change. Like Crocs were the coolest 25 years ago. They were the least cool 7 years ago. Now they're cool again. Like, I love that kind of shit.
For some of the new guys or young folks, starting out on their careers, what advice might you give to them?
Die on your own sword. And let me explain what I mean by that. There's a lot of youngsters in here who fundamentally, and by the way, a lot of OG gangsters in here that do not believe in what you're doing with your time and money to create the outcome you want, but they keep their mouth shut in the meetings because they are being protective of their professional careers. And I understand that. You're not going to be able to communicate your points of view the way I am because I own my own business. I don't have a board. I'm not a publicly traded company. So when I lose stuff or bad things happen, I look in the mirror and say, don't do that again. For you, there's more ramifications. I respect that. However, that doesn't mean that you are not able to very respectfully to your leaders and managers, very cordially, very charmingly, able to communicate your disagreement or different point of view on what you should be doing from a comms standpoint. The reason I say die on your own sword is the following. I believe the next decade will be the most significant decade of the last 2 decades, which were the 2 most significant decades of comms changing because of technology. It really stinks to lose your job or not progress in your career because you weren't articulating things you believed in that ended up becoming true, and you got no credit for it because you played defense and the culture of the company made you not say it, not your own belief system, so you missed out on the opportunity because of that. That is devastating. So please, find a way to cordially communicate your personal opinions. You're allowed to be wrong. I'm wrong. People are wrong, but you've got to share your actual thoughts. Head nodding in a corporate environment for the sake of head nodding is always a bad strategy.
You talk about some of the Gen Z folks need to have a little bit more patience.
Yes.
You also talk about, people like myself into their 40s now. Although I think when I saw the article you wrote, it said in their 70s, you'd encourage folks to be starting businesses. I think you said, just because you're 75, you still got 15 good years in you. Go start a business. So I don't want any of the
and it was less about start a business. It's more like when I look at this room, I'm like, man, do they really realize how young they are? Because I don't think they do. Because it's not the way the propaganda of age has been sold to us over the last 100 years. I don't believe this room, including you, Shaq, because you're getting up there, brother. I don't believe that, anybody in this room really has a good enough grasp of how much time they actually have. I think that, when I look, everybody, knock on wood, obviously horrific things happen or tragic things happen, but knock on wood, everybody I'm looking at, 40 more years. That's for me and you, Shaq. Like, there's some youngsters like 50, 60. Like, that is a lot of time. And so, I don't think people fight for joy and happiness enough. They're based on fear. They're based on the financial obligations, the theoretical, emotional obligations they've made them for themselves, for their spouses and their children. And, I really do believe being the best version of yourself requires a level of strategic selfishness, which is grounded in, if I'm really happy, I can make everybody I love happier. And if I'm really happy, everything clicks. And, it's funny because I'm such an entrepreneur, but my relationship with money is very weird. I don't like what it does to people. I think it confuses people. I don't think people have a good relationship with money or time. And, I'm very fortunate. The thing I love, I was a 6-year-old who sold lemonade and shoveled driveways. Like, I love it. I love the game of business. But for a lot of people, they don't love what they do, but they're doing it because it's paying for their lifestyle. And, I'm very fortunate that I have so many people consuming my content, and I want to use that for good. And I like talking about real things. And I think one of the most real things on earth is people are dramatically younger than they think. They have so much time to expand their interests, their capabilities, their professional ambitions. I'm passionate about it. I want to talk about it. I think the world has gotten very good at selling fear and hate, and I want to sell practical optimism. I'm not delusional. I'm a very practical operator. This is not like The Secret, like sit at home and pray that you'll be a professional skier. That shit doesn't work. But what does work is, hey, if you love skiing, believe it or not, try to make some skiing videos on TikTok and see what the world does with it. You'll never believe what can happen. And I know it to be true because at this point, 15 years into this journey, I have hundreds of thousands of emails from people that have taken one piece of content, done it, and something good has happened. Whether it's as simple as, hey, Gary, we really got into the garage sale stuff that you were telling us. Our family likes it. We have a lot of fun on Saturdays, but we made $8,000 on the side, and now we can afford this Disney trip. Thank you. All the way to, I thought it was crazy, but I was really down in the dumps, and I was an executive making $300K a year, and I started making YouTube videos and TikToks around Star Trek because you told me to make it around the thing I love the most, and I'm a Trekkie, and oh my God, you know, I now between affiliate merch sales and sponsorship make $200,000 a year, and I just quit my job that I hated, and I can, you know, I'm not making as much yet, but I'm 87,000 times happier, have more time to be with my kids, and by next year, I bet you I make $300,000 a year. That's profound. That is a profound, profound life change. And so yes, I push it. I push it on my own employees. I want people to be happier because the net of that is a good thing.
You talk a lot about the Jets. So you and your brother apparently haven't missed a game. One of my colleagues in the room earlier asked me, he said, you know what, if Mr. Marriott asked Gary to come to a meeting, but it was during a Jets game,
Never.
You think he'd come? You wouldn't come for Mr. Marriott?
Not only for Mr. Marriott, Mr. Marriott's not even in the fucking ball game. I've missed weddings, funerals, birthdays. I do not miss Jet games. Think about the most religious person you've ever known, whatever their religion is and whatever they need to do. Friday Shabbat, Sunday church, whatever that is. That person's not even in the universe to my religion of the Jets. I have not missed watching a play of a New York Jets game since 1982. I've watched them all.
So how are you looking for that acquisition, purchase, deal? How long is it going to take? I've been waiting a while.
My friend, my great professional ambition is the thrill of the chase to try to buy them. If I can just get it done before I die, I'd be very happy. I don't know what else to say. Like, everything that I've done wrong, I take full blame for, and everything I've done right, I give full credit to my parents and my circumstance and America at the right time for a Russian boy. Like, it just all, like, and what does that all lead to? Deep gratitude. Look at all these things that I had nothing to do with, that I believe are the pillars of my happiness and joy. How do you not lead with gratitude? So when people are mad at me, 90% of it is, in our industry, 99% of it's crystal clear to why they would say it. It's affecting their personal finances. Like, of course, if Garyvee goes and does an A&A and is curse-lating, like that TV commercials are overpriced and your entire agency buys or makes TV commercials, and I'm abrasive, like I'm in my Chris Rock Macho Man, like, if I'm sitting there and I'm that person, of course this is not gonna land. Who does he think he is? He's got no clue, naive, like, I get it, whatever. I don't like him. What I'm incredibly proud of is many people who've publicly and privately razzed me, when I get to actually know them and spend an hour with them, we have an incredible, joyful relationship going forward, and I'm proud of that. I'm proud of who I am because I think it's an indication of my parenting. And I'm empathetic when people don't like me because I have strong convictions, and I think the industry is underperforming for what I deeply believe that the majority of agencies are too expensive to the clients for what they're providing. I believe that to be true. I don't think that anybody's bad. I don't think these are bad people. I don't think they're not smart. I actually think some of them are incredibly smart at the tippy tops to why they're doing it. But yeah, that's my belief system. I don't know how not to articulate it. But yeah, and then imposter syndrome, like, in reverse, I don't believe my own hype. I don't think I'm special. When some people are like, you're a scam artist, and other people are, you're the GOAT. I don't believe either because neither are true, and I just stay in my lane and do my thing and try to do the best I can. And Michael, look, this is an important moment for me. Like, an interview like this is completely predicated on being right. Right? I don't get invited to this interview if I haven't been right for the last 20 years. So whether I try to defend myself or I succumb to people's negativity or positivity, it's completely irrelevant. The receipts are gonna speak for themselves. The receipts are gonna speak. So either I'm right or I'm wrong. And so I can live with that, and I try not to be wrong, which is why I do things that are controversial. You think the NFT land liked me when I was in the height of the height last summer, saying 99% are going to zero? I got bombarded by people like, yo, you're supposed to be the biggest advocate. I am the biggest advocate, but I'm not an advocate for a JPEG that has no utility and it's not a JPEG because that's the internet, an image. I'm not for a collectible that has no affinity yet being worth $50,000. I'm for a Spider-Man rare thing that's done work for 50 years be worth $50,000. I understand 16 to 60,000 people want it. So I will speak whatever I believe and let the receipts fall where they may. I'm not worried about somebody's opinion about me when it's completely predicated on their own self-interest. Okay, first, success has to be redefined in our culture, bro. Like, success needs to be happiness, not how many, zeros are in the bank account or how many followers one has. So A, on some real shit, being as young of a man as you are, knowing that you're gonna live 4 or 5 more lives, you need to seriously, in its own self, really think, especially when you're coming from hip hop culture, looking at your backdrop, so much of success is in what you got, what you're wearing, who you with, how much you drop, how much you spent. Like, please, my man, let's use the serendipity of this moment together to A, start right now, just like your family pounded from the get, which is hard to get out. Stuff that's established in the beginning is hard to get out. But A, right from this moment, please use this and watch this video over again. Success needs to be, are you happy?
Yeah.
Are you happy? Comma, you need to really go into this place, a quiet place, like this cave inside your own head where you need to be like, on some real shit, fuck my grandma, fuck mom, fuck dad, fuck my grandfather, fuck my uncle, you need to go into this place because every piece of value that they have over you is gonna always then go back to that place where you don't think you're shit.
Yeah.
On some real shit. Now, that doesn't mean you have to never talk to them again and fuck them.
Yeah.
You just can't value their opinion.
Opinion's so fucking much.
You need to shit on their opinion.
Yes.
And by the way, for you and everybody else, people have to look at where that opinion comes from. I have a friend who really had issues with his mom growing up, and his mom was a wreck. And finally I looked at him this is when I was 16. It's like, bro, your mom's a fucking loser. Why are you listening to her?
Yeah.
You don't get to choose who your family is, but which then leads to you don't get to choose who's fucking putting shit into your dome. But the reality is, fuck, to your point, if you've already quote unquote won more than they said, then now the whole rest of this game, the next 100 years is gravy.
Yeah.
Bro, you need to put positivity in your ears. All those posters behind you, right?
Yes.
Why are they icons? Why are they sitting on your fucking wall? Because they put out stories and people put that shit in their ears and that took them to a different place. They resonated with it. It was positivity, right?
Yeah.
And so, sometimes it seemed rugged, but it was optimism. I can get out, right? And so what you need to do now is at all costs, this is for you and everybody else, spend 100% of your time putting practical positivity, not some bullshit. Like if you dream, not some hippie shit.
Yeah.
Practical positivity into your fucking ear and limit that poison. Cut poison out of your life.
Yeah.
You ever see Bronx? I think it's Bronx Tale, where the kid sees a kid that he lent $20 to, and he still owes him $20, and he starts chasing him, and the gangster grabs him and says, "Yo, you got off cheap. Any manager, any friend or girl that just hung out with you because you had some money, all that thing, you could cut. You're in control. You cut them out. I'm never mad when people try to floss off me or gloss off me. You know why? I'm in control. A, at this point, and even from the get, I'm hard to trick. But B, if somebody got me because I didn't even give a shit if they tricked me, I can cut them. I'm the fucking energy.
Yeah.
Bro, this is a positive versus negative, yes versus no, good versus bad fucking world. Fucking lean into good and fucking cut bad out 24/7, 365, period.
I feel what you're saying. I fuck with that. Yeah.
And go back to your life in your mind the last 7 or 8 years and think about what was bringing you good vibes. And I keep telling so many people, I'm find that kid in high school that you now think is a nerd because they're not as cool, but they were your fucking homie in junior high, but you think you're a little something, you're trying to be popular, you can't be friends with them, and fucking go back to that person and be friends again, because that's positive energy instead of the fucking negative energy of somebody you're looking up to.
Gary, recession.
Yes.
Macro-wise, everyone's freaking out. The banks are freaking out. Every news channel is like freaking out. I feel like there's a lot of fear economy going on. But what is your take on it from your vantage point? Number two, how should entrepreneurs, founders, business people think about this?
Turn fear into common sense and practicality and humility, and everything will be beyond okay. Let me say that nice and slow so everyone understands. You should be fearful. Things are happening. Apple doesn't shut down production of iPhones for its health. Banks don't do what they are doing right now, which is clamping the fuck down, right? VCs don't, even though they got tons of dollars to deploy, they're smart. What are they gonna just write a check at a higher valuation when they know the market's gonna be different in 6 months? This is real. This is the time to not waste money as a company or as a human being. Maybe you don't need Starbucks every day. Maybe you shouldn't order from Postmates every day. Maybe you should cook in your little apartment. Maybe you don't need to take an Uber. Maybe you don't need to do these things. Like, you definitely don't need to be buying shit that you don't need. You don't need to upgrade your car. You may not need a bigger television. You may not need 17 employees, maybe it's 11. It's devastating because you don't want bad for those 6 people, but like, if you go out of business, then all 17 people are out of business, right? So don't take it as fear, it's just real life. Actually realize the last 10 years you should have been grateful for, and you should have had gratitude for how easy it was. COVID wasn't hard, COVID was easy. The government printed an unlimited amount of money. Why do you think we're here? I love how people are like, it's their fault. It's not their fault. Who printed all the fucking money? We printed all the money. Like, I don't understand like how people understand, like, there's nothing common sense or natural about I'm gonna sit at home and the government's gonna pay me more to sit at home than have an actual fucking job. It sounded all fun, but the problem was people bought fucking Dom P and fucking PlayStation 5s with that money. Like, don't you understand? People are confused out here. They're living insecure and they need stuff to patch up their insecurity or to flex in front of others. Life is about self-esteem, period, end of story. And so, what do I think? I think everyone should be very thoughtful about every dollar they have. Now, look, I have lots of savings, so I don't have to change anything. I can not do anything for 7 years different, so I'm less worried. But if I had to change my lifestyle, I would immediately. And I'm gonna change my lifestyle because there's gonna be opportunities. And I'd rather buy a business during this time than have another extra fancy dinner. Like, people need to get the fucking smart, be practical. Like, I don't know what you think's gonna happen. Don't fucking hope. And don't ask the government to do something for you. Like, fucking do it for yourself.
Kind of after 5 years, I made it, so to say, in my own terms. And now I find myself not working anymore from 2 to 7 in the night, and I'm a bit concerned that is this it? Like, how can I push to go forward?
Are you worried that you're content and you're trying to get the spark?
Yes.
Maybe you need to do something else. Maybe you're content in what got you here.
Yes.
Wine library. I built one of the largest liquor wine stores in America, and I did it. And I was like, wait a minute, the liquor laws are bad. This doesn't feel like it's it. I made it, you know. I started a YouTube show. Maybe you made it, thank God, in what I don't know what you do. Maybe you need to do something completely different and have the thrill that I always have, which is the climb is much more fun than the stuff. It's that great guy in the back, the good looking guy with the beard. I want him to love the process, not the idea of the Mexico beach. Maybe you're like me and you love the process so much that now that the process is not fun, even though the money's there, even the opportunity's there, you're missing the spark, the climb. You know why I love coming to Southeast Asia or North? I wish none of you knew who I was. That's the climb. People think it's the other way. I don't want anybody to know who I am. That's actually probably my biggest fear is the game of like getting known. You know, I plan on getting to all 7.3 billion of you. And then when that's done, it's gonna be like, fuck, do I have to go to Mars? Or, so I think that I have a feeling it might just be that you're looking for a new process and a new start from the bottom to build up.
How can I know what to choose next?
Just pick something. It's a really interesting question. I really believe that. Like, I don't know you, right? But there's things that are on your mind. I would start with interests outside of work. Like, if I would start something, like if you're into video games, I think esports is about to be one of the biggest industries in our society over the next 30 years. Maybe you don't know anything about esports, but you like video games. Here's the chance to start.
I was looking into it actually.
Yeah, so now, from 7 p.m. to 2 in the morning for the next 4 months, you learn everything about esports, and then you decide what you want to make. I think you want the process, which is incredible because it's going to lead to a lot of success, which is why you've probably figured out how to win in 5 years, because you loved the process, so you were willing to eat shit and work at night and be patient, and that's why you got somewhere. Now you got somewhere and you're like, wait a minute, fuck, you're calibrating, you're young, you need to go out and do other new processes. If you've got complete flexibility, I would do it around other things you like, music, sports, beer. Like, I don't know what your interests are outside of it, but you start there because that's a double. I mean, Vayner Sports, me and AJ are building this sports agency. It's a real fun thing. Like, we're gonna kill everybody and it's gonna be a huge company. And it's fun to talk about football. Like, we know about trades before they come out in public, we like it. So I think if you can do it around something you like, I would go and look and discover the business behind the things that you're interested in. Money's never been a big one for me, mainly because I had the ability to live humbly.
Gotcha.
I mean, dude, I'm not a fan of money. I don't know what else to say. Like, I'm good at making it, which I don't underestimate the gift that is money making, but I'm not into it as much as people may think. They hear things like, I want to buy the jets, and they associate that with money. It's just, my relationship with money is very strange. I love the fact that I like the ability to recognize that my talent mixed with hard work created some variable of that execution. But like, I don't know, man, like I'm even struggling to get hyped on money right now to balance out this convo, because I'm being empathetic and compassionate and sympathetic to individuals who aren't good at making it, need it, are struggling. So I don't want to be glib, but it's not about how much you make, it's about how much you spend. Like, if you get out of college and you live with your 4 most ambitious to be happy friends in a shitty fucking neighborhood in a garbage apartment, very quickly you just don't need that much.
Yeah.
So for me, for everybody it's different, but for me, I take for granted my ability to make it, thus I don't respect it as much as other people. I work hard, I'm proud of it, but like, I want to be happy more than but it's a funny thing, right? Because it's a scoring mechanism. Like, so for example, like when I'm like on eBay last night for like 5 hours trying to figure out which sports cards are underpriced to buy, it is under the context of like, I'm going to buy this Kareem Abdul-Jabbar rookie card for $2,000. It's going to be worth $4,000 in a year. It's not about the $2,000 profit. It's about the smarts of seeing it.
Yeah.
Like, that's what makes it fun for me. Judge yourself on how good it feels.
Okay.
You're gonna have a very difficult time in one transition. You were not this good student, and the system, your parents, the school system, they told you you couldn't. Yeah. You took that, you put that chip on your shoulder, and you stuck it to them. Even the way that you delivered the sentence of showing your parents, you took the energy of you can't, and you said, fuck you, I'll show you, and that was your driver.
Yeah.
I like that because I'm a very chippy fucker. However, what I had layered on that was I was chippy, but I was willing to play a game where there was no obviousness to me winning. and then it was a surprise at the end. You went through a game where it was actually, it was affirmation every 90 days.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out how to storytell this to you so that you get out of that, because if you can convert it to the energy of don't worry about what everybody's saying along the way, you're just gonna be like, ta-da, look at me at 30, I'm happy and I'm fruitful. Ta-da, look at me at 40, I'm happy and I'm fruitful. Ta-da, so try to figure out how you can still play that game that clearly works for you, but don't need, and in fact, how do you get comfortable with it being the other way? I actually seek out subconsciously people to not believe in me. I don't want the affirmation. I want to be the underdog. I want to be one of the things that's going on with me is this whole Garyvee thing is a problem for me, because now, Resi sold for a lot of money, K-Swiss sold for a lot of money, Empathy sold for a lot of money. Like, people are starting to realize I'm not a motivational speaker, I'm a fucking business fucking juggernaut. And the more they believe that, the more everything I do now gets received with that's gonna work, instead of what I want, which is this is not gonna work. Let me promise you, the number one sticking it to people move in the world is saying you're happy, because 99% aren't.
Yeah, gotcha.
They may not react the same way as an A, but I promise you, when you go back to your car and you drive back to your friends and you get a nice Sunday afternoon with them, when your mom or dad's in the shower thinking, they're like, first they're gonna be happy because they love you, but if there's really some friction there, or like some little chippiness, I promise you right now, the number one way to win this whole fucking thing, bro, I know unlimited miserable as fuck millionaires. Unlimited. I know more miserable as fuck millionaires than I know fucking happy millionaires.
Damn.
And bro, damn is right, because if people actually understood what unhappiness was, it doesn't matter. When you're doing fucking unlimited fucking prescription drugs in your fucking mansion, you're not a happy fucking person. When you're fucking drinking a bottle of fucking alcohol every night to 2 o'clock in the morning in your fucking Maserati, you're not a fucking happy person. People need to wake the fuck up.
Yeah.
You're not winning.
I have like this dream. I want to buy this car, Mercedes, and just like my dream car. I test drove it because now I'm fortunate I can afford it. I test drove it for half an hour, and all I was hearing in those half an hour was your voice. What the fuck are you doing, asshole? So I was just like, I couldn't do it. So I was still driving around in a shitty ass car because I'm pursuing my dream.
So man, when you have that mindset, you become more likely to buy Mercedes, the company, than that bullshit car.
Thank you.